A convicted child murderer who was released early from his 99-year sentence is now charged with raping a woman over the weekend. 52-year-old John Robert Morton is accused of forcing his way into the bedroom of a woman living in his girlfriend's home Saturday, sexually assaulting her. Morton was convicted of murdering a 3-year-old in 1984 and sentenced to 99 years. Fox 4's Phil Alvarado spoke with a prosecutor who tried that case today. Phil.
And Steve, that man, Morton, was sentenced 3 decades ago in this courthouse to what amounted to a life prison term for killing that 3-year-old boy. Well, the laws were different back then, and even today, 99 years in prison doesn't mean that someone won't be back out on the street soon before their sentence is done. In 1984, a Parker County jury convicted a man for murdering his girlfriend's 3-year-old son. He was sentenced to 99 years in prison, and the clock started ticking for John Robert Morton.
It appeared that it was just an extremely brutal crime.
Max Smith was the Parker County District Attorney back then. He prosecuted Morton's case. The jury heard evidence the child had marks and bruises all over his body, more than a dozen bite marks, and he died from a brain injury. Smith says the jury also heard Morton try to blame the child for what he did.
I think when the jury heard that, they were certainly convinced that it was a case that it was extremely serious, extremely brutal, and so they needed to take appropriate action.
But that 99-year sentence turned out to be a little more than 30 years. Late last year, Morton was paroled from prison. Then last weekend, he was arrested on a rape charge.
Again, I can't tell you why the parole board did what they did. I would assume that they felt like they were justified in doing it, and so I'm not going to try to grade their papers from that standpoint. It's just really unfortunate.
The DA who took office after Smith and is now retired wasn't available, but she sent a letter to the parole board about Morton before he was released. The letter warned society demands protection from this man and of the possibility of future victims.
I still feel sorry for that 3-year-old and what happened to him. And you don't want to ever forget a horrendous situation like occurred to that young boy.
Max Smith says that there are laws now that mandate how long someone has to stay in prison in cases like this before they're eligible for parole. He says those were provisions that were not available in the early 80s. Steve?
Understood, Phil. Thank you.